like to welcome everybody to the Irish Scott Productions podcast. Today we are going to be talking about the entertainment side of the wedding industry. And I'd like to welcome Brandon onto the podcast, the co-owner of Irish Scott Productions. He also owns a business called Irish Entertainment. It's a photo booth and DJ service entertainment company. I'd like to welcome you aboard.
It's great to be here.
All right, Brandon. So I figured we'd do a podcast talking about the DJ side of things because that's what kind of started us out with the whole video side of things. If it wasn't for really having your DJ thing getting us into, we wouldn't really be here with the podcast or video. So let's start off with how do you get clients, really?
Sure. My main focus is giving the client the best possible experience they can. If we take and look at, a wedding, essentially it's probably one of the most important days of a couple's life, with the exception of maybe a firstborn child. So what I do is I get out, I update my website quite often. I do get pretty active in the Facebook or social media realm of things. But a lot of my clients that I get today is solely referrals, past clients. They've seen me at a wedding, or friends of mine have referred me, because they know or have seen the quality of work that we provide, every wedding that we do. So I would say 75% is probably referrals. 25% is more based off of just people Googling DJs in the area and finding us through Google and our website.
Would you say venues have a big part in that as well? Other photographers maybe?
Yeah, for sure. I've got a handful of venues that I know refer me on a regular basis. Some of them that I'm their main referral, or, one of the first to be referred. And photographers for sure. My big motto, and we've talked about this, whether it's video or the entertainment side of things, is really communication. Communication to me is such a huge, important role in ensuring that the day is flawless. And so with that being said, it's not just about communicating with the clients itself. It's also about communicating with the vendors, whether that be the photographer, the caterer, the venue coordinator. Those are all key components in the day. And, being someone that has been to a wedding, last year where we did video, and then I also provided a photo booth. I recall the DJ starting the first dance off, and here the bride is downstairs.
Yeah.
And, as someone who, like I said, communication is such a huge point. All you had to do is come out. Okay, let's get the bride and groom together. Okay, you're all here. Great. We're going to start first dances. But they did not do that. They just started this on and, hey, I'd like to welcome Mr. and Mrs. X. And
they weren't even anywhere to be found. I think they had to restart the song, truthfully.
Yeah, it was a very awkward situation, and I felt really bad. I mean, and actually the bride had come up to me and mentioned how she wishes that she would have gone with my service, which makes me feel great. Anytime someone comes up and says something like that, it signifies that we're doing our due diligence, we're doing our job, and, our reputation speaks for itself, and so does our reviews. And we're not the only company. There are a number of companies out there that do a fantastic job with their clients and providing that memorable experience. And that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah. And going back to communication too, the better you communicate with all the vendors, the better chance they're going to refer you to their clients, because they are satisfied with the services that you're providing and the way that you guys got along during the day. And that's what I've just seen with, photography and all the videos that we've been doing. And that trickle down with your good communication on the DJ side has really been helping our video side, and in turn is helping my photography as well. So just kind of all branding it together, making everyone know that, we're here to be on the same team, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're all working together to one common goal, and that's to make sure that the client has that experience, that memorable experience as I talk about, and that they're satisfied in the end result. And with that being said, going back to the vendors and communicating, one of my biggest things that I preach to my guys, and, thankfully my guys are great. I wouldn't want anybody else working for me and helping me out. But, when you go up to the photographer and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and start speeches in about 10 minutes. They're very welcoming of that. They are very happy, because a lot of times these photographers, and this, you're off shooting other things. You're focused on maybe something else during the dinner portion, or maybe you're outside shooting something and we're getting close to first dances. Well, if you don't know when things are going to happen, you're kind of just like in la la land, not knowing. And, like I said, some other companies I've seen where all of a sudden they just start stuff and here the photographer is nowhere to be found, or the bride and groom's nowhere to be found. And it just becomes an awkward situation. And, we want to make sure that the photographer, the videographer, everybody who's involved does their job as well. And by communicating with them how things are going to unfold, it helps them understand the layout of the night.
Yeah, right down to playing the correct song when the bride walks down the aisle.
For sure. I mean, that's a huge one. I mean, yeah, it's, everybody thinks it's so easy. Oh, you're just a DJ. Oh, you just show up and press play. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. There are companies out there. That's what they do. And there's a niche for them. And that's not what I want to do. I want to be fully immersed in that client's day. I want to be a big part of it. And a lot of my clients, follow me, on Facebook, or are friends of mine on Facebook, previous clients, future clients. And, I tell a lot of my clients, it's really about creating friendships. I almost want them to be like family, or really good friends. I mean, we're not going to go out and grab beers every weekend, or, catch a sports game, but I want to know what's going on in their lives. I've invested time and energy into their special day, and they've in turn invested money and time as well into my service. So, I think it's a mutual respect thing. Just the investment that takes place. And ultimately, like I said, the goal is to make sure that client is satisfied.
Yeah. So sticking with that same theme of communication, walk me through what your process is of, like the pre-wedding meetings. You already got them as the client. They've signed your, they give you the deposit, or you met for the deposit. How does that meeting go? What should someone expect from you?
Yeah. So basically how I operate, and, not every wedding or every client is the same. Sometimes schedules and things, conflict, and, we're going to do we're going to do everything possible to be able to sit down with the client. But on occasion that doesn't happen. But typically what my formula is, first of all, you book with me, you pay a deposit, I send you a contract, and then I have a really nice, wedding planner. And actually, I've had other DJs come to me. They've seen my wedding planner. They've come to me and asked me if they could use my wedding planner, as part of their routine, because it's laid out in a traditional wedding sense. And what you do is you just go through, you fill out those pieces. And then what I like to do is about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks at most, Sit down with the client. And if a sit down doesn't work, I've got, the option of doing, a video chat like Skype or Zoom. Or if it has to come down to it, we can do a telephone conference as well. But I would say 80% of my clients, 85%, we sit down with them. And most of my meetings last for about an hour to an hour and a half. And we really dive deep into that wedding planner. We talk about their song choices. We go through everything. And that's the thing. Like, it's not about just showing up and playing music. There's things that my clients on occasion or quite a bit, when we're going through things, they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. One of them being the prayer. A lot of times people don't think about that. They don't think if they're going to have a prayer or who's going to be saying the prayer. So we just go through a step-by-step, kind of question and answer session. And then we create a timeline. The timeline is, okay, what time is your ceremony? How long do you anticipate the ceremony to go? What time do you anticipate your guests arriving to the reception hall? What time are we going to do a cocktail hour, grand entrance, first dances, dinner, cocktail hour, grand march, bouquet toss, garter toss. All these things are laid out and we put them in a timeline. And not to say that timeline is, set in stone, because things do change. We know, things get shifted and, sometimes at the last second, something can be added or subtracted and we'll roll with it. But this gives the client an idea of how the night is going to unfold. So they don't sit there wondering, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? And not only that, not do they also know what's going to unfold, I also come up and talk with them throughout the night, making sure that, okay, hey, you know what? We're getting close to 7:00. We anticipate doing first dances. How are you guys looking? You're ready to go? Great. Let's go ahead and grab your parents. Let's get them sit over here. And then we're just going to go one after another. So that's typically how the meetings unfold. Usually stop in at a coffee shop and have a cup of coffee. And it's really just an open format. We go through things. I ask questions, fill out the rest of the planner, and then I answer any questions they have. A lot of times they have to go and get additional information because, like I said, sometimes things they just didn't think about, which is natural. And there's so much involved in a wedding. And every company does things differently. That's just the way I provide my clients with their service and their meetings.
So once the wedding's over, is that all they hear from you, or do you do some sort of follow-up with them to get a review or anything like that?
Definitely. So what I typically do is, obviously at the end of the night, I walk up, make sure that they enjoyed their night, that they had a great time. And then I will find out, first of all, are they going on some sort of honeymoon? If they are, okay, when are you going to be back? Great. I'll find out when they get back. I'll send out a follow-up email. Hey, thank you once again for having us. We really appreciate it. And again, as DJs, I love what I do. I've been doing this. This is going on our 12th year. And as my friends who know me know that I pick up things and I usually don't stick them out. And, that tells you something about how much I love what I do. And going on our 12th year, yes, I follow up with my clients, make sure that they had a great time. And I do send a link to a review, and I'll give them a couple days. If I don't hear or see a review, I may just shoot another one, just, one more time asking if they can do a review. And, if they don't after that, I'm not going to bother them. I'm not going to hound them for a review. But, I would say majority of the people, typically give us reviews. It happens where they don't, and that's fine. Everybody's, we're in such a fast paced world it sometimes everybody is so busy, it's hard to take 10, 15 minutes to log in and sign up and do that. So I get it. But just following up with the clients and with an email.
Let's talk about some of the equipment that you use, like the uplights to, speakers, your photo booth, even down to like your mixer or microphone. What do you think has the biggest impact on the day? And I think I know the answer to that question, but if they were going to upgrade their package, what would be the biggest impact, I think, to make the room look a little bit better? Or
yeah, I mean, obviously photo booth is a huge add-on. People love it. It creates a different vibe. Sometimes, it gives people something to do, but I honestly think uplighting is just such a huge, upgrade. And, here's the thing. You can take an average banquet hall, an average venue, and even some venues that are just not good at all. And you can stick uplighting in there, and it takes it to the Taj Mahal. I mean, let me put it this way. I had one client, and actually they're celebrating their anniversary today. So happy anniversary to them. And, I had one client, he fought tooth and nail to, not have the uplighting. And, obviously at that time, fiance, now wife, won out on that argument.
As they always should. Yes.
As they always should, and as they most of the time do. So they arrived to the venue, and I saw him walk in, and he walked into the room. Now, it was a smaller room, very intimate setting style room. He looked around, he looked at me, stared at me for a few seconds, then proceeded to walk over. And I'm like, oh boy, you never know. You never know what's going to be said. He comes up to me, sticks out his hand, shakes my hand. He goes, "This is absolutely amazing." He goes, you told me, go with the uplighting. And I did not want to go with the uplighting. He goes, honestly, this is unbelievable. This looks amazing. This has transformed this room from a good room to a great room. And, that stuck out to me. And he's not the only one. We've had a lot of people. Here's the thing. If you think about it, and we've all been to a lot of weddings, with the exception of probably a handful of females that go to these weddings, how many times are you looking at the table decorations going, wow, look at those table decorations?
Never.
Unless it is absolutely just something
Unless
that
I'm
is
filming it or taking pictures of it, I would never look at it, yeah.
Or it's something that is absolutely just stunning. I saw one, they had these 5-foot vases with peacock feathers coming out of them. And I mean, it just towered the table. And, the company that did it, they're well known to do things like that. And they knock it out of the park every time. But with the exception of something like that, most of the time people are walking in and they're not going, wow, look at the decorations.
Well, especially guys, they're not looking at decorations, definitely not.
But when they walk into a room and you've got this bright lights, shining up the wall, highlighting the venue, it's just very eye appealing and, just pops. It makes it pop.
And not only the way it makes the venue look, but your lights specifically, they're all wireless. I've seen other DJs where they're running extension cords all the way around the venue. And for what you offer, they're all battery operated. You can set them up in the beginning of the day, set them to a specific color, and then from your control center, you can switch that color throughout the night. Like as the night goes on, you can start like a brighter color and then switch to like a darker purple or, whatever their color scheme is for the wedding. I find that really neat. that you can offer that, and it definitely helps with, setting the mood for the later on at night.
For sure. And one of the biggest things and kind of my selling point to my clients is, not only does it make the room just look fantastic, but we also use it as part of our dance. And, it's kind of a psychology thing. There are certain colors that create certain moods. And, popular colors that my clients typically take are going to be, the purples, pinks, blush, white, and a navy blue. Those are typically the 5 most popular colors that we see, being used. And then once the dinner and the first dances are done, we do switch that lighting throughout the night. So, all of a sudden a slow song comes on. We're going to go to a navy blue. A navy blue has the symbolism of calm, a laid back color. You want to turn it up a little bit. We're going to go to a nice bright pink or a purple, maybe a electric green, and it's just, it creates a different ambience in the room throughout the night. So you get just a different feel as the night goes on. And yes, they are wireless. They are battery operated. You don't have these cords laying across the floor, not only looking not good, but there's no trip hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so it's just a benefit to the client. And what's great is my company, we've invested quite a bit of money into uplighting. I've got 6 cases, which equals roughly about 45 lights. So even some of the bigger venues, the, Wausau Convention Center, the Pavilion, even the Grand Hall, the Grand Theater.
Well, and you're not limited to where the power is either. You can put it wherever you want. You could put them under tables. You could put it at the cake, just different locations in the middle of the dance floor if you want it,
Yeah, and one of my favorite places to put up lighting is under tables and under high tops.
Yeah.
If they've got the white linen under a high top, it just looks fantastic. And, if we've got enough lights to do that, and it, depending on the size of the room and all that stuff, we love doing that because it again sets it apart. And to me, like I said, it's all about creating that experience, and that's just one of the ways we create that experience. And another way, like you're talking about equipment, the photo booth.
Yeah.
We did a podcast the other day, with Angela and
Midwest Selfies. Yeah.
Midwest Selfies. And, she does a lot of similar things like I do, especially with the green screen, and she kind of hit on it, as I do with my clients. It's kind of a selling point, besides her, I don't know anybody else in the area, at least that doesn't offer it straight up without charging extra, that provides the green screen. And it's just a fun thing. I mean, over 50 different backgrounds that my clients' guests can choose from. I mean, you've got everything from, Vegas backgrounds to lovey-dovey backgrounds to, stars and, tropical.
I mean, you even have a shark in there or something.
Yeah, a nice big great white shark coming at you. I mean, it just creates the photo booth is about fun.
Yeah.
This isn't a mall photo booth. I do an open concept so we can fit larger groups of people. I've had up to 12 people in my photo booth before.
Yeah, and I remember experimenting with the photo booth with you when you were first getting it going and trying to determine, well, should we have it closed off? Which I remember that caused some problems because people would go in there and just cause problems inside of it. It was too dark. And then we decided to just do the regular backdrop. And then you saw the big green screen thing that you have. So I think it's evolved pretty well. And the people that you have running it seem to be running it pretty good too. Adam is doing a good job at it. And from what I've seen, it's pretty tight now.
Yeah, it really runs smooth, and obviously you help occasionally with the photo booth, and it's such an awesome thing because we create that unique strip, right? We create a custom strip for the client. It's a one of a kind. Nobody else.
And then you put it in the album. too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
have it
great
in the
scrapbook.
album, and then the scrapbook, and then people sign it, and a lot of people use it as their guest book. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had instances where people, come up, hey, your photo booth is our guest book. So, make sure to make announcements to have everybody get into the photo booth before they take off.
Yeah.
And it's a great idea. I mean, you're spending that money for the photo booth. Why not utilize it? I mean, the scrapbook is awesome, but hey, if you tell people that it's your guest book, you're going to get more people into the photo booth. And, it's just not that they feel obligated, but it's kind of that feeling where, oh, it's a guest book, I need to get in there. And, we've got a lot of props. We've got some, a bunch of signed props. I've kind of transitioned to more sign based props just because of hygiene and, those types of things. But occasionally clients ask if they can bring their own props, which, as long as they're not bringing glitter, feather boas, stuff that's going to get messy, I don't really have a problem with that. We've got mustaches and glasses and things like that. But, that is an awesome, we've actually got enough to run two photo booths at any given time. We've got 32-inch touchscreen monitors, that they go up, they touch, they, follow the prompts. And again, my photo booth attendant walks them through, helps them, gets those printed off, gets them a copy, helps them get it in the scrapbook. I mean, he does a fantastic job in keeping things flowing smoothly and keeping people happy. So, the photo booth is awesome.
So for 2019 this year, are you doing mainly weddings, or are you going with some other events?
Yeah, I mean, my focus in all is wedding based. I love the wedding industry so much. That's my main focus. Now, yes, I've got other events sprinkled. I've got we're doing a couple proms this year, a photo booth for Elko, we're doing the regular dance for Rhinelander. And then we've got a few other events sprinkled throughout the year. We've got a Boys and Girls Club event coming up here this week, and I've got a corporate event for Medford Cooperative. So we do all types of different events. We're actually doing I'm providing, I should say, my Whitey, one of my the guy that got me all involved in this 12 years ago. He's going to be running sound for a charity event coming up here and a little over 3 weeks for a comedy show at North Star. So if anybody is looking to have a little bit of laughs, go check out Chuckles for Charity at North Star. I want to say it is February 17th or 16th. February 16th, I believe, is the date. You can check that out. They've got, I believe, 3 comedians. And one of my buddies, Brady Gregorich, is going to be be doing that. Actually, he's the one that contacted me, to help him out. And, so we're going to be helping him with that. And, I'm actually going to be having, I believe, him come on my podcast here next week. So that should be interesting. I can't wait to talk with him.
So what's the name of your podcast?
Yeah, so I'm just getting started. I've got I'm getting things organized here, but it's going to be called Irish Talks. And basically we are going to be talking about whatever the viewer would like to talk about.
I have an idea for your picture, for your podcast idea picture. We need a glass of whiskey, a cigar, and we got to find a fireplace. And like one of those high back chairs, and you need like one of those smoking jackets. And that's
like a Hugh Hefner jacket.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the picture that everyone sees when they subscribe to your podcast.
Hey, I'm down.
I think that'll be hilarious.
I'm down for whatever. I'm gonna need some sort of picture. So, whatever works. But that's something that I'm working on as well. Just getting that. Getting that created. I'm working on, I've got a guy working on getting my intro done, and I just want to do something different. And The entertainment side, that keeps me busy in the summer, no doubt. Last year I went from the end of November to the end of May to the first weekend in November, every single weekend without a weekend off.
Yeah.
We ended up doing 37 weddings last year. And,
So
we've
you're,
got 30,
you're pretty booked up this year.
Yeah, we've got 31 or 32 booked this year. I don't know how many more I can do. I've got a couple weekends free, and I'm thinking about just keeping those free. But obviously,
so
if
you're
people
probably
are still
booking
looking,
for 2020. So as we kind of wrap up the podcast here, so if someone wanted to book your services for 2020, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure. First and foremost, the greatest place to go is just go to my website, www.dj-irish.com. That's dj-irish.com. And there's a contact form on there. And, you give me the information. And then what I like to do is try to set up a time. If that date is available, I like to set up a time to give you a phone call, talk to you on the phone, talk to you to learn about what you're looking for. Because, yes, I could just give you pricing, but until I get a great sense of everything that's going to be involved, I want to be able to give you the most accurate quotes. So, are you going to look for ceremony music? Do you want photo booth, uplighting? What time is it going from till? Where is it located? These are all things that factor into the end price. So when I give a quote, that is my all-in pricing. There's no surprises. There's no add-ons. There's no additional charges. Those are, that's your price. So, excuse me. So that's the first place. Otherwise, you can also get me on Facebook. Go ahead and look up Irish Entertainment and Photo Booth. And you can also send me a message through Facebook. And whether it be the website or Facebook. Facebook's a little bit trickier because it doesn't always notify me when I have a inquiry or a message. But, barring that, I get the notification. Whether it's website or Facebook, I typically am back with my customers within a couple hours, no more than 24 hours. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Going back to the communication, if I don't get back with someone within 24 hours, I'm very disappointed in myself. So, I had an instance, just recently where my email stopped coming to my phone because of a password change, and it didn't prompt me to enter in a new password. And I found out I had a bunch of emails, and I was so mad at myself for the day, for not getting these emails. Thankfully, I was able to talk to majority of the clients that inquired, but right now we're receiving probably anywhere from 3 to 5 inquiries a week.
Definitely.
Even on the prime booking
side
season.
Yep. Yes. So Brandon and I are going to be doing this podcast semi-regularly, talking about wedding stuff, wedding industry. Got some people lined up, planners, photographers, people just in the wedding industry in general. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't been able to figure out, but Brandon and I have kind of caught the podcasting bug, and I believe it's going to be a great hobby that we're going to take up and help us and help other wedding professionals in the area. So until next time, thank you for joining and listening to the podcast.